I came across an information the other day, or maybe lately, around Citadel closing his Luxembourg office entirely, like, seizing all activities, seizing all operations. Well, you will think, but maybe because they need some money to pay taxes. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so personally, but it might be well the case. But also, when you really dig a little bit more, and you try to connect the dots, because these kind of things you need to read between the lines. That's how the truth is hidden, because the truth is definitely not hidden on media, especially the mainstream media, okay? Because they are trying so hard to distract us, to bore us, or to put us down by telling us, hey, maybe it's time to take profits, like I've seen another article from MarketWatch. Okay, well, we've been there, so it doesn't phase us anymore. Now, back to the story. Citadel back in April, I know it's a little bit dated, but it's still relevant to know where we stand actually now and where we are going with AMC. Back in April, they ceased all operations with the Luxembourg office. Well, you will say, it's another office. Well, Luxembourg is a tax haven, okay? I know because I've lived 15 years in Europe. Luxembourg is a tax haven. It's really a location that is, helping billionaires and people with money getting advantage of some tax loopholes, okay? And that's how you will think people like Warren Buffett or, Jeff Bezos, pay less taxes than the actual secretary. And in order for a company like Citadel to take a real advantage of, that location in terms of tax haven and safe haven for finances, it's because you don't pay taxes in huge taxes when you are involved in a bond market by issuing bond. Well, by issuing bond, it's actually a way for hedges and huge banks like, huge companies like Citadel, by, securing collateral because they are also heavily involved into complicated, complex, deep, kind of weird shit operations, like exactly what Citadel is doing right now with AMC. All right. Now, back in April, also, there was a ban in Europe from big banks like Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs from being involved into this whole bond thing because they were, actual, they were caught. They were caught manipulating interest rates in the UK, and then manipulating also the bond market there in Europe. And that's why, when you connect the dots, it's like, man, maybe Citadel is closing its office in Luxembourg because it's really tight. If the banks for which they are used to work are not able to be involved in that bond market anymore in order to raise collateral, well, maybe they need to find some other ways. And that's why they went to Bank of New York Mellon. You can, if you can find out on Google, with all the SEC filing, just type it up, okay? Just look it up. So by going to Bank of New York Mellon, it means it's really difficult for Citadel and other hedges as well to get those collateral. Well, why do you think they are scratching so hard to get collateral? First of all, because the traditional ways that we're using is not, it's close, okay? It's close. Now they have to go to other banks like Bank of New York Mellon in order to find that collateral, just because, in my opinion, they are losing so much money. They are losing so much money in terms of interest that they pay on the borrow shares that they use to attack AMC, but also on the short positions to which we know they are overextended. Guys, how can you explain selling 400 million shares worth of AMC while the whole float is actually 450 million shares and 80% of that is owned by the retailers? It doesn't make sense, right? Well, it means the end is near. It means they are really desperate and trying whatever move they can pull in order to get away from this, but actually there is none because they are already exposed. They are already, definitely naked per se. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are on suicide watch nowadays. Yeah, because it's getting tough being a hedges, especially on AMC. Well, doesn't surprise me anymore.